What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel here for another Hot Toys review, and this is a special one here. This is a figure here, the Dark Side Anakin Skywalker Sideshow exclusive. This is one that I honestly never thought I would ever pick up. I would never have in my possession, simply because I missed it when it first came out. And if you guys just look at the going rate for this thing, I mean, it's absurdly overpriced in a lot of ways. Now, that just kind of is how it is for a lot of these figures. But I mean, this definitely gets up there. I mean, I think a normal average kind of price for it nowadays is like $650, like used, and like $850 new. So if you caught the stream a while back, and I actually uploaded it separately too, but I went to a toy show recently, and I was able to kind of bundle a couple figures from one individual seller there and get them all for like essentially normal price. A little over retail, but not, triple retail price like this thing is going for right now. So I'm very happy to have it in my collection now, especially since I've been trying to focus on getting like Clone Wars era stuff. This definitely kind of fits in there, like right at the end of that time frame. So I love the piece. Now let's just get this thing out of the box and take a look at everything it comes with, and get on with this review. All right, guys. So first, let's take a look here at the box. Keeping in theme with, all of the Star Wars figures here, really. You got the classic black and gray. Get your Sideshow exclusive sticker up here in the top corner. MMS 486, Anakin Skywalker, Dark Side. A picture of the figure himself right here. A nice little preview for what he's going to look like. Nothing here on the side of the box, just the Star Wars logo. Again, same with this side. And on the back, you have your usual credits and all that sort of fun stuff. So nothing exciting here, no special like fancy art box or anything. But then once you pop them up, you do get your single art print like you normally do. This is a pretty cool print. It's got a lot of different scenes here from depicted from the movie, but these are all actually the figures itself, so which is pretty cool. Obviously, you got Vader back there in the background. Decently cool little art print for sure. Then you pop them open and you see kind of, let's say, pretty much the main reason I think this figure is so expensive and why everybody loves this thing is the big base himself here, the money maker right here, the nice base. Well, let's get everything out of here and take a closer look at stuff real quick. So once you open it up, you then get the money maker right there. Look at that. This is a great looking base. I honestly, this is one of the cooler bases I think Hot Toys has ever really made. The fire effects and everything on it are really good. We'll take a closer look at this and everything once I get everything out of the package. But quickly, we will take a quick look at old Anakin right out of the box here. I gotta say, personally speaking, I mean, that's Anakin Skywalker right there, is it not? That's Anakin. Looks good. The eyes look great. The robe's good. You got a nice oversized hood. And I got a little trick for anybody to actually get this thing to hold up in a better position that we'll go over here in just a minute. And you have all your usual stuff here, your lightsabers, your extra joints, and everything like that. So now, let's get everything actually out of the box, take a look at all the accessories it comes with, and then continue on with the review. So here are all the accessories that come with the Dark Side Anakin Skywalker. So let's first, without any further ado here, let's take a look at this base. Now you have this nice rust weather kind of look here on the actual base stand part itself, which is, it looks really well done. Even it continues on around the outer rim of it. Very nice weathering effect there. Definitely looks like it's been in some heat, been out there for a long time. And you have here your little robot little eyes there. I forget what this thing is actually called in the movie, to be honest with you. What model kind of lava droid this thing actually is. Then you have some additional like wires in here on the inside, which are not, they're kind of like a rope texture. Almost feel, it's just like a very soft rubber wire, and that's just kind of going on in through there. You can see, you kind of look at it better there in the back side. Very nice little touch there. You have some like piping going in through here on this section. Then you even have some like other sort of like a yellowish orangish paint going on through the bottom layer of it here too. It adds a whole other effect to it, which is kind of going out of their way to make something look good because I mean, in all honesty, you're going to be looking at it like this, from like this angle, so you don't even really you're never going to see that. But they went the extra mile and they put it in there. They even have like weathering effects on it down like towards this side. Very, very nicely done. And then even on here, you have a nice like texture to it. And it feels rough. It feels rough around the edges. It feels like, something that's been sitting in the lava for a while, getting heat damage and things like that. Speaking of the lava, though, they did a really nice job on this lava effect. It looks really nicely done. It's like, darker tones bleeding into these lighter tones up at the top. On the bottom here, you have a little rubber or foam kind of like stopper mat down here. Takes, I believe, 3 AAA batteries. And when you turn it on, it's kind of hard to see. Maybe I'll pop the ISO down just so it'll kind of see the lighting effect a little bit better, maybe. Cool. This, as you see, it honestly doesn't really do it too much justice because I have so many lights hitting this thing right now. Even with turning the ISO down, it's still pretty hard to see the lighting effect. But this thing actually does light up fairly nicely. Like, it actually looks pretty cool. Like, much more so than the lightsaber glow. This thing is substantially brighter than just like the lightsaber sitting there. These LEDs are very bright as well. They did a really good job with space. I can see why so many people really like this figure and pretty much want it almost entirely for the base for the most part. So I think they did a fantastic job on it, personally myself. So, other than that, I think another cool thing that this has that I didn't really expect it to have is his full mechanical arm. Now with this thing, for one, it is all plastic. It would have been really cool if it was die cast. It almost though they did such a good job on this thing that like I actually thought just by looking at it in the box before I took it out, I almost thought that it actually was die cast just because they did a really good job on the paint and all the like special details here and everything. My camera does not want to focus on this for whatever reason. Maybe if I do this, spot focus right here. Eh, it's still not liking it. It's kind of picking it up there. There we go. We'll go with that for now. Now it lost it again. Oh boy. Okay. We'll just go back to this. But you can see some nice like little inner workings here. You have your metal wires there going through. Metal looking wires rather. It's obviously again it's not metal. So let me see if I don't know why my camera does not want to. There we go. That's a little bit better. It is just not liking this thing. It must be too reflective. Anyway, you can see inside there they have some like little red wiring and some like blue wiring going in with like these metal tubes. They did a really nice job on this as well. Then, like I said, this thing, if you just look at it, the nice glossy finish on it, I mean, it looks like it's die cast. It's pretty. They did a fantastic job with this. And then it has individual finger articulation here. So all the joints, all the knuckles on the finger, they bend, which is super duper cool. Now, again, this is plastic, so you do have to be kind of careful doing it. So that would be another like kind of thing that would benefit from this being die cast. But either way, very cool feature. Looks good. Spider-Man ended up there. I don't know why when this is where my hand wanted to take it there. But yeah, they did a really fantastic job with this. Like you can see like on the inner workings too. God, my camera does not like this. Like, there we go. That's kind of the best view I'm kind of getting of. You can see there's like different layers to it. Very, very nicely done. Very cool. Now, the only downside to this thing, like this is a cool thing to have, but for the most part, I'm probably not going to be posing him with that piece. As cool as it is, it's just not how I have him in the shelf right now. You'll see a little bit later the pose I do have him in the shelf right now, but I have him on this bad boy. I create a scene, obviously, from Revenge of the Sith with this. Now, speaking of this too, there is one more thing. This little section right here that blends in beautifully, by the way, this actually pops up, and you can insert the crotch grabber inside of here if you want, but honestly, he stands up perfectly fine on his own, so there's really no need for it. I guess if you're your joints were like substantially bad and he was having trouble standing on there, it'd be cool. Maybe if you wanted to like try to put him in a dynamic pose on there, then there you go. Now you get one extra ball joint for the skin tone hands, his left hand, and you get one for his mechanical arm. And then with that, you also get a fisted hand for the mechanical arm, which is it looks good. It's nothing too fancy with it, just a you know, leather looking paint job on it. So they did a nice job putting the ridges on there. It's not really too detailed. You have some like, pinches going in around the side. Just kind of standard stuff that Hot Toys does nowadays. This is a kind of like mid-grade soft rubber here for the open hand here. Like it's not entirely posable. God, man, my camera, is it this? It just wants to focus on something else in the background here. It's kind of weird. What does it want to focus on? I've never had this problem before. Here we go. But yeah, it's kind of soft rubber here, so you can kind of bend them. You don't have to worry about them snapping off. And the same old stuff here. You get some creases going on in the middle. Then you get one kind of like force point hand, doing the 2-finger point. Dude, my is it? Go. And you get some open hands, some force hands here. One with the fingers like a little bent down here on this side. And then this one just a completely open hand. And the paint job's very well done on here as well. You can see the veins popping through. They look really good. No complaints there. And then you get, obviously, he has the saber hand on his body right now. And then you get a skin tone left hand that is open fist for the saber itself. Speaking of saber, is it trying to focus on the saber? Is that what's doing this? There we go. So you get a lightsaber hand here. And then a fist hand. Well, there's that. Then you get the lightsaber hilt itself, which is very nicely done. And the only thing that came across my mind, like I said, I bought this used at a toy show. And the only thing that I didn't notice when I bought it was the fact that the CoverTech wheel that goes right in here, that's there so you can clip it onto his belt, that was actually smashed down inside of here and broken. Now, I managed to get it out. So that wasn't really the problem. I just did not notice it prior to buying it. So that was the only thing. I maybe could have talked him down even more if I noticed that. But nevertheless, it's not a big deal to me because I never pose it with it on his belt. But just something that you should be wary of if you ever buy any of them used. Make sure they come with that piece if you want it. Make sure it's not broken. But then, like always, you can pop this out and just have it posed just like that. Again, this is very nicely done. It looks, the paint job makes it look like it's metal, even though it is not. Very accurate to the lightsaber hilt. God, dude, my camera. I'm sorry about this, guys. I don't know what the hell is going on. It's focusing on my hand and not focusing on the thing, the object. Blowing my mind right now. I literally never have this problem with the great camera. It's a Sony A6100. But here we go. Kind of focusing on here now. You have that. It looks very nicely done. Then you get your blade effect here. Nothing too crazy there, nothing we haven't seen before. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at Anakin Skywalker himself. Hopefully the camera decides it wants to focus in and not be kind of a pain in the ass like it's been, huh? You have him here. So here's a little trick too. Like I said, I had a little trick in the beginning for this. So you see his hair here. This is a very oversized hood that you get. So you can definitely easily recreate the whole Master Anakin or Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? You can easily recreate that scene. Now, since it is such an oversized hood, it does kind of like lay oddly and it's very largely kind of baggy. So you kind of get some, it kind of falls down a little bit quite often. But what you can actually do is you pull it up like on the seam part and you can actually cock it in like underneath here. And then his hair will actually hold it in place. So then you can pretty much freely pose this in any way you want. Like you can actually get a nice drape down and it'll kind of stay down there like perfectly. So, and it looks really good and it keeps it up on his arms a little bit more as well. So it's not like super duper baggy. You can have his hands poking out a little bit. So there's a little trick that you can do if you do have this figure, or even the non-dark side one. I'm sure it has a very similar robe design and everything, so there is that. But then you have his head sculpt here, which I think is very well done. I think it looks really good. I think it has a pretty good likeness to Hayden Christensen. The eyes look really, really great. You know, the yellow effect going on to him. His skin tone's coming through like much more pale than it really is due to the lighting right now. It is like a nice olive skin tone, more natural looking. But other than that, he is on a fixed neck, but you do get quite a bit of articulation through it. So you can kind of go up to there with it, come down to there. You can go over to the side a little bit, side there. So it is a fixed neck, though. They don't have any alternate options for that. Once he is derobed, you will then see his other hand sculpt that he has, which is kind of a clenched fist sort of deal here. And then this, to note, is also there is a wire in the end of his sleeve here on his left sleeve. So you can kind of get that. There's not a whole lot to do. They kind of went the extra mile to do that. Just, I mean, the only kind of benefit you have with that is being able to have it always go like for the gravitational pull, right? So if you have his arm up, you can make it go down like that where it's kind of supposed to. And this is the only one, like I have numerous Jedi or Sith figures, and he's the only one I have that actually they put the wire in on that section too. Otherwise, though, the costume looks great. This is like a nice faux leather material. I don't have any cracking on it or anything, so I'm not sure if it's kind of softer than that, it's really thin. I don't think you would have any issues with it, but maybe over time, especially if you're trying to bend it around, like most things, I'm sure that, you could get some cracking with it. Now, the gauntlet here for the right arm, the robot arm, if you will, they did a really nice job on the paint here, makes these things look like metal, but these actually pop open right here, and you can actually take this off that way. I'm not going to because I don't really have a need to, but you would take that off, take the hand off, then you can remove the arm and then put his LED arm inside of there, which you get the nice blue light there, if you so chose. But then, like I said, here is the other right arm for the lightsaber. The belt here, this is two separate sections for the cloth piece and then this kind of like faux leathery piece. Again, they did a really good job making everything that, appears to be metal actually look metal, but is indeed all plastic. Here is the CoverTech wheel, or the CoverTech belt clip right here. That's where you would, if you had it, put your lightsaber on there. Then they did a good job here too, like painting these things like different colors gives it a nice effect. Then, like I said, these are two separate sections here on the belt port, so you can take this off. Both sides just go with Velcro, so if you want to move it down, move it up a little bit, you certainly can. Then you have some pouches. Looks really good. And he's got like a two rope set kind of thing going on here, one down here, one here. And then as you can see, another one here. And then it's just coming down to here like normal. And then you have his boots, which these are also very well done and very accurate to what he was wearing in the films. And you get a pretty decent bend in his ankle. So you can get because these are also like the faux leather material, you do get a nice, you get more movement than most. It's almost like having a split boot design. So it's very nicely done. The boots are really good. They look great. All the, all the straps on here, the buckles, they all look really nicely done. And you get some, like I said, you get some nice articulation out of his feet because of this. So much more than a lot of other figures. Now, just to quickly wrap up here and go over articulation, you do get what's this? You get a double joint in the elbow. You have a butterfly joint in the shoulder. And because of this, is one of the reasons I really absolutely love like Jedi and Sith figures from the Star Wars line in general, is because they all wear these cloth garb. So you really don't lack any articulation. You can pretty much get his arm to go up as high as the outfit would allow him, or really as high as the figure would allow it to. You can get all the way up to about there. You can come forward as the butterfly joint got his shoulder stuck. You can come forward all the way out to there. Same with this side, up and over. And then the legs all the way out to pretty much horizontal. And then straight up as well, with pretty much no resistance. So yeah, I really love this figure. Again, I think the face likeness looks really good, and the hair, honestly, too, is the only thing I didn't really mention. Kinda hard to pick up, but there's some, like, golden tones kinda running through it here and there, and they did a really good job with this sculpt, like, actually putting in, like, these extra there's, like, an extra layer there, and you see it kinda pops up, and it's like its own separate layer. Did a really nice job there. They have the scar there on his face, and again, it's more of an olive tone in person. All the white lights I have shining on it's kinda making him look super duper pale, but I promise you he's not. So, without any further ado, guys, let's get him into some poses here, and we'll kind of wrap this thing up and give my final thoughts on the dark side Anakin Skywalker figure. All right, guys, so I've got him on the turntable there in some poses. We're going to take a look at those and kind of give my final thoughts of the piece overall while we are taking a look at the poses here. So, without any further ado, here he is standing there on the turntable. No pose, no fancy pose here or anything, just straight up and down. No accessories on him, not even the belt, the lightsaber on the belt clip because, I can't even do that anyway. So, but here he is, and he looks great. Like, he looks great just standing there. I love the costume. I love the outfit. The colors on it are really nicely done. I like the different tones that, each piece of the tunic has, and then going into the leather. And there you go in the what is it? God, I'm like brain farting on it. This review has been so weird with the camera not focusing or anything, but like the Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? There it is. He's got the lightsaber out. That's the unfortunate thing with that light blue like lightsaber blade for with all the white lights hitting it and the white backdrop and everything, you almost can't see it. It's like invisible. But he looks great with the hood up. I love the oversized hood. Don't forget to tuck it under the hair so you can get it like locked in there perfectly. And this is the aforementioned pose that I was talking about. This is how I have him recreating the classic in the Revenge of the Sith as he's fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi. Maybe, just maybe, I might actually be able to complete that little diorama with a one Obi-Wan Kenobi from Revenge of the Sith figure coming up. Maybe. Stay tuned. Maybe check out the stream this Friday. Maybe we'll see an unboxing or not. Right here, I decided to keep the lightsaber hilt out on this one to have it more as like a pre-ignition thing, like he's mad about something, he's doing something, he's about to make a fist and then ignite the blade. You know what I mean? Like kind of a mid-action pose. And that's the thing too, like I said during the review process, I love the Jedi and Sith figures because they're wearing primarily all cloth, so you can get them in dynamic poses, like, very easily. Now, he's not someone that, like even though he had that huge fight scene with Obi-Wan and everything, like the best lightsaber duel on screen to this day. Yeah, it was more of a dance, but either way, like heavily choreographed. But you know what? It was still damn entertaining. Like, tell me it wasn't the best lightsaber play that we've seen on screen to this day. It's really sad that, in today's modern world with all the, we got movies like John Wick and all this insane choreography and stuff like that, and the Avengers movies and all this. But then you come to the Star Wars, sequels of the, this current modern era, and we got like no lightsaber fights. The fight choreography was like pathetic in those movies. Even when we had lightsaber fights, they weren't really lightsaber fights. It was ridiculous. Like it really made the old OG A New Hope Vader Obi-Wan fight look good. You know what I mean? They literally almost make those look good. Like, it's insane. But the robe is great. It is a little bit kinda like it's a little maybe a freaking millimeter too big in some areas, like, the sleeves are a little too big, but Anakin's was like that. Like, it's and by no means as bad as the I recently unboxed and got at the toy show with this figure actually, a, Mace Windu figure from Sideshow that they did, like, years ago. Because it's actually, like, the Sideshow has never really been, like, the greatest at capturing likenesses with their head sculpts, primarily with, like, human characters, but this Mace Windu one is actually, like, fairly decent, and, like, I didn't know like, Hot Toys has run into so many delays lately. They were releasing so many, like, Clone Wars figures. Like, I imagined they probably would be doing a Mace Windu figure at some point, given the fact that they've already have, like, Sam Jackson's likeness from the Nick Fury and everything. Like, it wouldn't really be all that difficult for them to get the head sculpt, and then, God, they have tons of tunics, but nevertheless, the point of the story was literally the robe that Mace Windu figure came with is ridiculously oversized, and there are pictures of him. I'll do the review of him at some point, but he looks it's like a wizard robe. And it was so weird, I was like, "There's no way this is accurate." And then I looked it up and, like, sure enough, there are promo pictures of Sam Jackson as Mace Windu with, like, a very similar robe, like a wizard robe, and you never really notice it in the movies, but, yeah, it's kinda weird. And his robe is kinda the same way, like, it's I'd say it's pretty much perfect, but there are some areas, like, maybe just, like, a little bit up on the sleeves would be better just for, like, aesthetic purposes. Even if it's more accurate that it's, like, too big, that's fine. It might be more accurate with the size that it is. But when you have it on, it just, like, kinda completely covers his hand. I had to literally on that pose with the hood up and lightsaber out, I had to tuck it behind, like, resting on top of the lightsaber hilt back here, just so it wasn't hanging down over the lightsaber, you know what I mean? Which is fine, but like I said, you can't even see his hand there, like, 'cause I even have it in kind of like a he's making a fist, like, kinda like this, that half fist pose, so he's just kinda hanging it out, but I have his palm open like he's about to clench his fist, and you can't even see it, you know what I mean? So if it was just a little bit higher, you could see right there where it was tucked on the saber just so it was hanging above it. But in the end, this is a piece that I never, again, never thought I would have, and I am extremely happy to have it. I love the figure. I think the head sculpt is pretty spot on. It's not 100% Hayden Christensen likeness, but when you look at it, you know exactly who it is. It is one of the better ones, in my opinion. I'm not the biggest fan of the single, the one piece neck sculpt, just 'cause it does limit you a little bit, but with him, you do get a fair amount of up and down motion, and I'm not really trying to do too much of anything crazy with this figure as far as where he needs to turn his head. I mean, he is a human, so, I mean, he only really needs to turn it a couple different ways, and the hair's not restrictive, so it all kind of works out, for the most part. I haven't had any issues putting him in poses that I want him to be in with the single sculpt, head sculpt and neck, so that hasn't been too much of a problem. So all in all, I love the piece. I think I forgot to mention though, the tunic part, the like faux leather tunic part, it is wired as well, but down towards the bottom, since it is that like kind of leathery material, it doesn't really hold position very well. It does around the shoulders, like, you can, like, bend those down and it'll pretty much stay there, but with the bottom part, it doesn't really hold it, and I wouldn't recommend doing any hard bends on it because you don't want it to crack, so that being said, again, I love the piece. The boots are great again because it actually you get some nice ankle motion out of it, and it's essentially a single sculpt technically because it completely covers it, and it's a lot more accurate to actually have a pair of boots like that for cosplay, like literally the exact same ones as Anakin's, but they're black, and they do like crunch up like that, so it actually is accurate, unlike the Superman figure where around the ankle joints, the cloth gets stuck in there and it's kind of unsightly. For this, it works because that's actually how it would be. So, nevertheless, that's pretty much my thoughts on this piece. I'm very happy to have it. Moral of the story is when you go to a toy show, make sure you bring cash because people will be much more inclined to give you like discounts. Hopefully, you can get lucky like me and like one person, one vendor will have like a couple things that you want because that way you can like be like, okay, you want 350 for that, 450 for that. Okay, would you do, 700, 650? You can try to talk them down a little bit, bundle together because they don't want to take the stuff home. And if you pay them cash, it's tax free. Much more inclined. I'm sure most of you all know that, but I'm telling you, if I walked in there and tried to get those three figures, that Dark Side Anakin and the Gladiator Hulk and that Mace Windu, if I just went and bought them individually, I wouldn't have got no discounts on that, you know what I mean? But you're like, "Hey, if I get this and this, would you do this?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So that's the moral of the story. Always take cash with you when you go to a toy show or convention because you can probably talk them down. So, guys, let me know what you think about the Dark Side Anakin figure. Have you picked one up? If you have it yourself, what do you think of it? I love the base. I think the base, again, like I said off the top, I think that's what like everybody wants with that one and that's why it kind of like shoots up there in price. I do think it's one of Hot Toys' best display bases that they've done. That's just me, but let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And would you pick one up for the kind of absurd price they are right now, or have you? Let me know. And don't forget, every Monday we have our show, Honest and Uneducated. And it's also in podcast form, so you can go and check out iTunes or Amazon or wherever you listen to your podcast. Just search Honest and Uneducated, and you can also submit topics and questions to us that we will address on the show just by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated gmail.com. And without any further ado, also don't forget to check out every Friday we do live streams, and I'll do figure unboxings and everything, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about like right now, Falcon and Winter Soldier's on every week at Friday. So we'll do like a spoiler discussion about that. We'll do some unboxings. We play some video games, just things like that. So you can come hang out with us on the live streams, normally around 8:30, 9 p.m. We go for about 4 or 5 hours. So come hang out with us there. And then our collectible reviews, like the hot toys and everything, like this very video you're watching now, they go up every Wednesday. So, ooh, it's hit my mic. But don't forget, well, first off, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and all that sorts of fun stuff. Greatly appreciated. And then that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to call it there. So thanks for watching again. And until next time, guys, take care.